Please rise for the presentation of our colors by the Shelby Township Police Department Honor Guard. Please welcome to the stage Eisenhower High School senior Bella Arini for the singing of our national anthem.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave?
Mark time, march.
Ladies and gentlemen, you may be seated.
I'm Greg Jacob. I am with Henry Ford Macomb Hospital. I'm also on the board of the Macomb County Chamber of Commerce, and I welcome you today to Riverbends Park and to the State of Shelby Township address. We have a number of sponsors for today's event that make today's event possible. While I'm speaking, there are a few of them are going to come up and give a 60-second commercial. So if you could come up while I'm talking, please do that, and then introduce yourself when I'm done. Again, I'm from Henry Ford Macomb. We're all about masking up, washing up, keeping distance, and getting your flu shot. Those are our key messages forever. And our sponsors for today are AT&T, Beaumont, C&G Newspapers, DTE Energy, Genesis Credit Union, Henry Ford Macomb, and United Shores Baseball League. And our speakers, come on up, introduce yourself.
Not as tall as he is. So my name is Teresa Doan, and most of you probably know me from United Shore Professional Baseball League. However, I am now with Genesis Credit Union. And how many of you are members of a credit union? Oh, fantastic. So then you guys already know that credit unions are not for profit and that the money is invested, the profits are invested back into you, not into the shareholders. So at Genesis, we have three goals. Our number one goal is to offer value to you as the member and make sure that we're offering you the lowest rates and the best products. Our second goal is to be involved in the community, which is my job. So we are sponsors of events. We are very active in giving back to the nonprofits. Our third goal is to be a great place to work, which there is so much teamwork and rah-rah and all the fun stuff going on inside of Genesis that it really is a great place to work. And we are hiring and adding people. The staff is continuing to grow. So we're one of the largest credit unions in the nation. We do have a Shelby Township branch, which Shannon is the branch manager, and she's here with us today. So you can stop in and say hello to her. And I am also still big fan of Jimmy John's Field. So go Hoppers.
Hi, I'm Dana Schmidt, and I'm the Chief Operating Officer of the United Shore Professional Baseball League. And I'm still mad at Teresa that she left us, but I'm really happy for her that she's at a great organization like Genesis. And I'm overseeing a baseball season unlike any other at Jimmy John's Field this year. We actually are playing baseball games, and next weekend is our championship. We have games. We played Wednesday, Thursday this week. We'll play the next 3 days, and then next weekend, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, is our championship. So if you want to come out, you can. Just go to uspbl.com. You can buy tickets. We're under a capacity limit, but we have done everything super safe. And we're going to be one of the only baseball leagues in America that completed a full season. MLB's getting through theirs, and so they'll probably do it as well. But most of minor league baseball did not play at all this year. So we're really proud of that. We think it's an accomplishment and something that we will survive this. And we hope to see all of you back next year with a packed house like we did in the previous 4 years. Not the way we wanted to celebrate our 5th year, right? So, but we will survive, and great partners like Genesis, like Henry Ford Macomb, and the great support of Mark Hackle and his administration have really helped us and the Macomb County Chamber to survive this season and make it to next year. So if you want to come out, you can find me here after, and I can help you do that, or just go on our website. But, Teresa's Hoppers are in first place right now, so this might be their first championship this year. So there's something to see. Thanks so much.
Thanks again to all our sponsors. We have a couple of our representatives from Lansing here with us today. First, I'd like to introduce State Senator Pete Lucido. Are you going to say a few words, Pete?
Hi, everybody. I won't move the mic. Can you hear me okay? All right. I'm State Senator Pete Lucido, and I'm proud and privileged to serve in this community. I live here with my family, and we've had all of the Lucidos pretty much grow up in this community, and it's a gorgeous community. Look at us today, sitting in the middle of a park, socially distanced, masked up. And here today, we are learning how to live with COVID. The Capitol is the same way. We have to do the same things that you see down here. It's been a real challenge, but it's part of our lives now. But at the same time that there's barriers that we all have to overcome. We still have to run our businesses. We still have to get along with one another. We still have to feed our families, and we still have to nurture what it is, this illness, so that we don't have problem long term. I've got great partners in the legislature that have worked tirelessly to do what we need to do to try to overcome these barriers. And I know our governor, she has the executive authority to make decisions for all of us, whether they're good or bad or indifferent. She has that power at this time. I know the frustration level is beyond reproach with a lot of us, and I feel the pain from most of the businesses that can't justify the differential of why I can't open but another business can. I'm at a point right now in my life that I take a lot of lessons from the people that have the opportunities to say to me, Pete, I need help. And I try my best to do what I can to help them. So as a legislator, as a state senator here for the community I serve, I work with my local partners, such as my supervisor and his board, as well as the county commissioners, to do what I can, however I can, to bring back whatever I can from the great state of Lansing. Thank you very much for letting me serve. Thank you for giving me the honor and the privilege to be your state senator. Thank you.
Thank you, Senator. We also have State Rep Doug Wozniak. Doug?
I'm the state rep for this area, going all the way north into Bruce Township, Washington Township, and the village of Romeo. But I'll tell you, I am very proud to be a resident of Shelby Township. For those of you that don't know me, I spent 2.5 years on the Board of Trustees with Supervisor Stathakis. And at that time when we started, this township was not in good shape. There's no other way to put it. But we turned it around, and together we worked at it, but we kept the taxes low. We didn't raise any taxes. We didn't bond anything. And maybe I'm taking some of Rick's thunder here, but we built a courthouse, a police station, 2 fire stations, everything for cash. And how'd we do that? We didn't spend. But that's the idea I took to Lansing. We don't need to spend. Remember that 45-cent gas tax from last year? Didn't happen, did it? That's because we didn't need to do it. And the Republicans in the legislature knew that at that time. But it was bipartisan by the time we got it voted on, and it didn't happen. So we had to make sure that we didn't penalize residents in this state. The other thing we did, big thing, is change the auto no fault, everybody's complaint. So that all the prices on that, the premiums should be down for you. If they aren't, shop around, they're available. Last thing I want to say, I appreciate working with Pete in the legislature, working with Rick here. We've got 2 other supervisors, brand new, coming in. I think this area, as Pete said, is beautiful. I love it. I'd never move from here. And that's the truth. Thank you.
Thank you, Representative. And now on to our main event, the State of Shelby Township. Please welcome Supervisor Rick Stathakis.
Okay. Well, thanks for coming, everybody. We really do appreciate it. And this goes without saying, but, you know, this ongoing COVID-19 emergency that everybody's talking about, it has changed our lives in more ways than we thought ever possible. No question about that. Still, though, some of the changes are unforeseen blessings, without a doubt. Like hosting this event with the Macomb County Chamber at our 850-acre Riverbends Park. Nothing is nothing against our fantastic banquet centers in Shelby Township, but none of them have a 100-year-old oak trees and playgrounds like we have here. So I think this actually is an upgrade, without a doubt. And all you need for an event like this is a huge park, in which we have, and also a talented production crew led by production coordinator Nick Monticelli and communication director Brad Bates. They have done a fantastic job setting this up yesterday and even into the wee hours of this morning. So let's give them a hand. Good job, guys. I wish we could turn the temperature up a bit, but that's okay. Somebody told me it just got up to 50 degrees, so I'm feeling better already, actually. But anyway, like most people in the world today, the COVID-19 pandemic has helped us refocus, and we realize what truly now matters in our lives. It has helped us appreciate the first responders on the front lines more than ever before. And I think about our firefighters and paramedics. They're called into homes where they know their residents are suffering from COVID-19. And I know those medics selflessly go into these houses, and they treat those residents. They transport them to the hospital. And those medics, you know, they have children and spouses waiting for them too at homes. And it gives the term essential worker new personal meaning. We are also very grateful to the police officers and firefighters. They really do make our township what it is today, which is the safest community of its size in Macomb Township. And that's according to niche.com. We are safer because these men and women, they care for us. They focus. And as neighbors and family members, we know how important that is. And for some of us, it's the difference between life and death. So our hats off to them. And of course, I'd be remiss talking about their township's response to COVID-19 if I didn't include our frontline workers in the Department of Public Works and the Parks and Recreation and Maintenance Department as well. These workers fly under the radar every day, and we never know how often they give us their service. And every time you turn on your water tap or water your lawn or swim in your pool or flush a toilet, you should actually be saying thank you to DPW Director Dave Miller and his team. As Mr. Miller reminds me very often, a pandemic is awful. But facing one without clean running water, well, that would be a situation that many of us would not survive. So, thanks to DPW workers who worked through the pandemic and quarantine, and we actually, our hearts are off to all of them. While we were actually in our houses with water running and lawns were green and also working during this pandemic, our Parks and Recreation maintenance staff, they were on duty as well. As you look around this park, keep in mind that it's one of 13 parks in our township. And all 1,192 acres of those are actually cared for by a team of 10 full-time. And these are maintenance workers working and doing whatever they have to do to keep this going. So these fantastic parks are made possible with one employee per 120 acres of park. And our staff's ability to do more with less, no matter what the world presents, was made even more evident with a pandemic and quarantine. These individuals worked through the quarantine, and because of the parks saw more use than at any other time in recent history, their efforts made for our parks the very best for our residents. And this is when our residents needed them the most. So we're very happy about this. And this effort is why I want to thank the Parks Recreation Maintenance Director, Joe Youngblood, and his staff. Let's give them a hand. They have done a great job stepping up and rising to the challenges. Thank you all. Okay, so while we're on the subject of the pandemic, I want everyone to know that the Shelby Township municipal offices have reopened to the public. Now, we were never closed. Our services were always happening, open to the public, but our buildings were actually closed, and now they're open. We're limiting capacity to stay safe and enforcing social distancing. But our buildings, again, are open to serve the public. Given the setting this morning, I want to spend now time on parks and recreation in Shelby Township because they separate us from any other community in Metro Detroit. We offer roughly 15 acres of dedicated, developed park land per every 1,000 residents. These parks include amenities for recreation, such as the playgrounds and ball fields at the Maystecker Park, our passive features like our 18 miles of nature trails. Because of our park staff and dedication of our Board of Trustees, there is no better community than Shelby Township for enjoying the great outdoors. Now, I want to thank Trustee Lisa Casali for the work that she has done on a sidewalk committee, and if she would have known I was going to mention her name, she would have told me not to, but I'm glad that she's here. And in the last 2 years, her committee have made our parks more accessible than ever before. We have opened up parks such as Riverbends Park and Chief Shepherd Park, as well as by filling strategic gaps in our sidewalk system. And this program allows residents to leave their homes on their bike or in their walking shoes to enjoy our parks. And this is without starting a car. So thank you, Lisa, and thank you to the hard work of your committee. We appreciate that. Now, a highlight of these improvements is the recent expansion of our trail and sidewalk systems, making way for a local connection on the Iron Bell Trail. This July, our board approved a plan to use the existing sidewalks and trails. And this is to act as a local connector to the statewide trail, running more than 2,000 miles from Belle Isle in Detroit to the far western tip of the UP. And the local connector's cost is $160,000, which is 1% of the original price. We all got together and figured it out. Thank you, Mark. Thank you, Vince Viviano. Thank you, Lisa. This trail will exit Riverbends Park, head east on 22 Mile Road, north on Shelby and Mound Roads, and west on 24 Mile Road to the Macomb Orchard and Clinton River trails. And then, if you're ambitious, it connects all the way to the north to the UP. And locally, this connector directly opens up Riverbends Park and Gene Shepherd's Park and the Macomb Orchard Trail and Stony Creek Metro Park as well. And this will be actually for more township residents to use. So we're very happy about that. And because of this, 4,500 homes and 15,000 more residents will have access to Riverbends Park. In more than 7,000 homes and almost 25,000 residents will have access to the Iron Bell Trail from their house, which is a great accomplishment. Trustee Vince Viviano, I know you're here too. You were a big help to make this happen. And along with Mark Hackle and your entire department, thank you very much. The county connections were very important in making this a reality. Thank you, guys. It's not just access, though, to our parks that we are investing in, though. Look to your left, and just across a parking lot, the township partnered with our local Lions and Kiwanis clubs. Last year, we actually installed a barrier-free playground, thanks to them, right here in Riverbends Park. This playground accommodates play for all our residents, regardless of their age and abilities. And I want to especially thank Jim Diaz of the Lions Club and also Linda Ann Held of the Kiwanis for leading this effort. They have done a tremendous job in initiating this and getting our Board of Trustees on board. We got it done. Thank you very much. And I know Pete Lucido and Wozniak, Mr. Wozniak, you were here at the grand opening. We thank you for your participation. Thank you. Now, I've spent the last several minutes actually talking about our phenomenal parks in Shelby. But you're the only ones listening today. We're going to actually have this virtual at a later point. But that's why I'm proud to announce a brand new campaign launching right now, promoting our parks and recreation right here in Shelby Township. Here's the tagline, get lost in Shelby Township's suburban wilderness. We got a video. Go ahead and play it.
Here in Shelby Township, the amenities are incredible.
People are starting to realize how fortunate we are with over 1,100 acres of parkland here in Shelby Township.
We are so lucky, we don't think about that on a daily basis.
We've got it all. We've got streams, we've got ponds, we've got rivers. Many people using our trails for bike riding, many walkers. I don't know of any other township or city in the metro area that's got as much to offer as we do.
I really think in Shelby Township we have a great mix of active recreation and passive recreation. we can be over at Mace Decker having the softball game, playing tennis. You got kids all over the playground. And then you can go down to Heritage Gardens and just have a nice relaxing picnic. You go to Holland Ponds and see the beautiful heron, go on a walk in the 200 acres out there, and that's a nature trail. You're not going to find kids playing football or baseball, but for the families that want that, go over to Whispering Woods and we have 20 soccer fields. Or you can head to Gene Shepherd and have a beautiful family picnic, and the kids can be over on the splash pad.
Also, we've improved our parks by putting up our barrier-free playgrounds. That's something we've never had before. And we're actually looking at adding another one in the next 2 years. And I think probably one of the best things we have going right now is finally, after 10 years of talking about it, we will be connected to the Iron Belt Trail.
We have a lot of people looking forward to that connection one day to go from Iron Belt to Belle Isle. So we'll be connecting from Riverbends Park to the Macomb Orchard Trail on what we're calling our Shelby Local Connector, which is going to reach a lot of residents right from their home. So you can go out your door and you can access the local businesses, you can ride to your restaurant, you can go to the ice cream store, you can go to the trails.
I couldn't tell you how many times I've been down around some of the trails, even here in Shelby Township, and you'll see a deer crossing over, or how it winds along the riverbanks of the Clinton River. Boy, the scenic nature of what you see when you're out here, you feel like you're up north someplace.
You go certain areas in Riverbends, you think you're in the wilderness up in Gaylord. I mean, you got the Clinton River here, you know. You could be up on a river somewhere up north.
People can do things in and around Shelby Township that you would otherwise think can only be done up north or in the UP. That is not the case. They can actually do those type of things here, staycations right here in Shelby Township.
I think you'll find this to be a better place for great memories and just a great place to bring families.
And now it's not a hidden gem anymore. People have found us and we're grateful to have everyone.
We're very fortunate to live in an area where we have this natural beauty in our own backyard.
Good job. Nick Monticelli and the Community Relations Department did a great job. One thing you didn't put in the script, though, that I'll mention now, this is all paid for in cash. No borrowing, no bonding, no increase in taxes, just so we're real clear on that. Thank you very much. Wozniak, that's what we always talked about, right, since 2008. Yep, and we're still keeping that going. Now, this morning, I'm also happy to announce that we are growing our green space in Shelby Township. We're in the process right now of finalizing a deal. Rob Huth, our attorney, is working on that. Rob, you're doing a great job on that. But this is where 40 additional acres are going to be donated to the township. The space is actually right over here behind me on the north and south side of 22 Mile Road. And this would expand the Riverbends Park by, again, 40 acres, and it would put us over 1,200 acres. So thank you to the landowners for coming to us with this donation. And unlike our good friends, I love Mayor Barnett, but we don't count our lighted parking lots as green space. So we really do have 1,200 acres of green space. And if you've seen our, so we're happy about that. And by the way, Rob, thank you for working the details out. And we will have more to announce, I think, in a few weeks. So thank you. Yep. Now, if you've been on our municipal campus lately, you have seen our library going up. And we are investing $11.2 million. Again, we're not borrowing, not any of that. We're paying cash. But in this new 26,000 square foot library, this faculty will be unlike anything that you've ever seen here in Shelby Township. It will be our first standalone library ever. And Director Katie Esther and Trustee Lynn Wilhelm ensure that it will be a welcoming, comfortable space, helping residents of all ages and of all needs to grow. So we're looking forward to that. Because of the pandemic, our opening date has been pushed back a little bit. We're now on track to open the library in fall of 2021. And in fact, we've installed a camera. And let's watch the progress of our new library. I believe it's on camera, yes? Okay, so if you looked at it, it looks like the seasons are changing. That's all that's being done. But at the end, you did see some progress. I see Eugene D'Agostini. He's probably thinking he could have had this done already. But anyway, we're moving. We're starting to move. Again, thank you to Miss Esther and Trustee Wilhelm. They've done a magnificent job. And by the way, speaking of new buildings, I hope all of you had the chance to visit the Shelby Township Activity Center and Senior Center. Before it was closed for the pandemic, before all of that, before the closure, we experienced record attendance from our seniors. And families were taking part in this after we had a lot of 5 p.m. programs, and those were going very well at the center. In the center's first 5 months of operation, it averaged nearly 6,000 visits per month. And this year, the senior center memberships outpaced all of 2019 in the first 2 months of 2020. So I'm glad to announce that now, while the program offerings are still reduced, Mr. Youngblood recently reopened the doors at the center and is already welcoming seniors back to their home away from home. So we're real happy about that. The center has been so successful. We are already making improvements to the grounds surrounding the facility. Just last week, the township recently installed 4 new outdoor pickleball courts in the center, or actually outside of the center, and the total cost was nearly $74,000. But it was offset by nearly a $44,000 donation from the Robbie Atherton Foundation. And thank you very much to the Robbie Atherton Foundation. They have just been magnificent in making other contributions to Shelby Township as well. Let's give them a hand. Thank you. In addition to the pickleball courts, more development for the 8 acres around the center, which is a lot of land. It includes a senior center giving garden, which is being put up now, and also a pavilion with restrooms, obviously all paid in cash. These will join a newly refurbished baseball diamond at the activity center. And it's not just a quality of life improved by our parks and our board's investment in green space. It's other things such as the center and things that we are doing. And we know that these investments pay dividends throughout our township. Home buyers prefer homes closer to parks and open spaces. We know that. And also greenery is what they want as well, compared to homes that are not. So according to the study of economic benefits, these parks, and this is according to the Pennsylvania Land Trust study, the proximity to green spaces actually increases property values. So by at least 5% for the homes within 500 feet of a park, that's how much actually they increase in value. So in turn, we feel that this increased tax revenue is actually a good case to make to our residents. So, and we do. These improvements actually do pay off and pay for themselves. One could make that case. It's something we want to do anyway because of the quality of life. So you can see the fruits of these investments either way. And you can see these throughout the township. So we're happy about that. In 2019, our building department processed 139 permits of new single-family homes, and 152 businesses opened their doors in Shelby Township. Since 2016, our township has processed permits for the construction of 571 single-family homes and welcomed 527 new businesses within our borders. That's a lot of activity. And all this has happened in 4 years. So a lot of work by our building department and planning. Coming out of this quarantine period, Shelby Township Clerk Stanley Grote and Trustee John Vermeulen, they have stepped up to make sure that local small businesses have had the help they needed to remain open and survive with the township's relief initiative. They've done a great job on this. The initiative streamlined the processes for businesses wanting to put up temporary signage and outdoor seating. Much easier now. So Stan and John, thank you very much for that job well done. We also waive park rental fees for our local businesses and for our local fitness businesses, to be more exact. The Community Relations Department also has launched a business portal on our website that highlights which businesses have reopened. And we've also have a new social media campaign titled Shop Shelby, Shop Safe. Given those reopened businesses free promotion, we think this is going to be very, very good, and we continue to support the private sector with initiatives such as this for better times ahead. And I want to thank County Executive Mark Hackel. Thank you very much for securing more than $20 million in funding. We appreciate that. Over the last 2 years, this has been done to rebuild and resurface local roads. Since 2008, our Board of Trustees, has invested nearly $100 million in our roads. And we'll continue to do so whenever possible and wherever possible. And I know we took a lot of heat in 2009, 2010 for keeping that investment going, but we're happy we did. And of course, all of this takes true team effort, which is why I'd like to thank Treasurer Michael Flynn for his 12 years of great service, and Trustee Lynn Wilhelm for the wonderful contributions over the past 4 years that she has made as well. With them, our Board of Trustees has worked very closely with one another and with each other, and with our more than 300 employees, keeping Shelby Township strong. That's what we want to do, and all of you have done that, and I want to thank all of you for that, because that's why we are who we are. Thank you. Great team, very good team. I also want to thank our partners for their excellent work, in which we depend on very, very much. Kirk, Huth, Lang, and Bellamenti Law Firm. Rob, I know you're here. Thank you very much. It seems like of all the partners we have, we talk to these folks almost every day, and they're not just lawyers. They're our friends. They're our consultants, and we really do have a great relationship, which just continues to grow and blossom. Thank you, Rob. And also BPI Information Systems. Ms. Case, Beth Case, has just done a great job as owner of BPI on our IT. We have never actually, been at a point where we've been shut down and things could happen. She's done a remarkable job. Thank you very much. And AEW Engineering, I know Wayne Enke, I saw you somewhere here. Gordy Wilson, thank you very much. You're not our new engineers anymore. It's like we've been together for 50 years, it seems. There's so much going on, and I want to thank you all for what you do. And also Nickel and Saf Insurance Agency. They're great. They not only shop our insurance, they do more than that. They're good consultants, and we appreciate that. And Kelly Levati and the Macomb County Chamber of Commerce, you folks do a great job with business connections and putting on this event right here. Thank you very much for what you do. So together, our team will continue to strive to meet or exceed township expectations, because that's what we are. We are a service organization, and that's all we do. We try to meet or exceed expectations, and that's as simple as it gets. Now, you take all of that, you add it all up, and it's easy to understand why Shelby Township is simply a better place. It's a better place to live, to learn, to play, and to do business, even during a pandemic. And even niche.com thinks so, because year after year, it ranks Shelby Township as the best community to live in Macomb County. And here's why. Because of the local economy's growth, our community pride, the Utica Community School District, and we've got Bob Monroe, the new superintendent at UCS. Thank you very much, Bob, for being here. Our team's commitment to sound financial policies, and our commitment to you. That is what's most important. This is why Shelby Township is better suited than most other cities and townships to weather any economic downturn from the pandemic. More importantly, it's because of residents, business owners, volunteers, and community leaders like you that make our community thrive. And so, I'm happy to announce that for the 12th straight year, Shelby Township's finances, public safety, and quality of life are in excellent standing and secure as ever, and will continue to get better together. The state of Shelby Township is strong and ready for anything. And I want to say thank you to you all, and may God continue to bless our township and you. Thanks for listening. Greg, I think you're up.
Let's hear it one more time for Shelby Township, Supervisor Stathakis. Thank you. Great presentation. And we have time for an update from the county. Please welcome County Executive Mark Hackle.
You know what, I got to say, here in Shelby Township, you got great leadership. Rick Stathakis is a guy, even through this pandemic, that has been so outreaching. Again, I think a lot of communities, there's 27 that make up Macomb County. And Shelby was one of those right at the onset that wanted to know what was going on, what's happening, specifically for the residents, as well as for their businesses. And so that connection we had within the county to Shelby Township was direct. I say that because if you think about going back to March 13th, which was the first case we had here in Macomb County, we enacted a state of emergency to try to figure out what are we going to do and how are we going to handle this. And I want to make sure that the people that are going to be listening to this after we air it understand the issue that we're facing right now as we move forward, specifically for business. At the onset, on March 13th, the biggest challenge we had was flattening the curve. It was to try to figure out how do we make it easier for the healthcare system to deal with the onset, or I should say the onslaught, of the cases that we were seeing. So the whole initiative, on behalf of everyone involved, was to try to figure out what is this pandemic all about, how do we address it as citizens, as residents, as people within the community, to help the healthcare system. Well, during that first month, we were unsure ourselves. So what did we do? We enacted what was called a state of emergency. And a state of emergency under the 1976 Act is very simple. It gives the, I guess if you will, executive of that community that enacts a state of emergency the ability within a 7-day period to try to get control of it. This was unique, far different than anything we've ever seen before, and I spent 30 years in law enforcement. And so whether it's Chief Shalide or the fire chief or whoever else, they understand during an emergency, you got to take control of something. And sometimes that's very difficult to do when it's something that's unknown like this. None of us knew what was happening. So 7 days had gone past, we still didn't know about PPE, we didn't have enough, we didn't know about testing, we didn't know about what was going on. Ventilators weren't available for some of the hospitals. So we turned to our partners, the Board of Commissioners, and Don Brown, I know he's here, he's in the back, and asked them if it was okay that we once again suspend normal constitutional provisions for an extended period of time. They gave the executive the ability to go ahead and bypass the legislative branch for 30 more days to get our act in order. And so we did, and after 30 days we realized there's still an issue. And why do I say that? April was the onslaught. That was the biggest challenge we had. 600 deaths in April alone in Macomb County. 600 deaths. Of the people that were testing, and we had very limited capacity to test, 47% of the people that were testing positive. We had a big challenge. So we still needed more time. We turned to the Board of Commissioners, asked for their willingness to give up their normal constitutional responsibility to engage with the legislature, the executive in this process. They willingly said yes. So we realized, you know what, this is something to me, I don't know about you, but when it comes to the Constitution and that, if you will, 3 branches of government working together, that's something that needs to happen and continue to happen, and I'm building up to this. Today, where we stand, thankfully with the support of the Board of Commissioners, we no longer had to have a state of emergency enacted. We are engaging the legislative branch here in Macomb County, working with them as we continue to work through this state of concern. There's no question it's still a concern, but the initial concern we had about flattening the curve has happened. How so? I said earlier that in April we had 600 deaths. Well, over the past 2 months, in totals, you're looking at 16 deaths per month. We'd rather not see any, but that's flattening the curve. Testing, where we were once testing about 2,000 people a month, we are now testing 66,000 people a month. And what we are seeing as percentage of people testing positive is less than 7%. We have done what was the responsibility on behalf of the public and the businesses here in Macomb County and throughout the state. So as we sit here today, the only legislative branch that is not engaged in working with the executive branch is at the state level. And I find that to be very concerning because you need the legislature, especially if people are enacting laws, to have the ability to truly understand and understand the facts surrounding why we're doing what we're doing, especially if you're making something a law. So when I look at Doug and I look at Pete and realizing these are the folks that I have to turn to get answers, when a business says, when can we open? Why are we opening? Why are they opening and why we're not opening? And I don't have an answer. Nor does Pete. Nor does Doug. Something's wrong. There is only one legislative branch not working alongside the executive branch. And I'll take it to this extent. We had the most difficult decision to make as behalf of residents or in a community, and that's what we were going to do with our children. Where are we going to put them back in school? How was that going to look? Was it going to be something that they were going to be doing remote, or was it going to be a hybrid? Where are they going to go? That was a very difficult challenge, and it took months to get to that point to figure out what we're going to do. And what happened? The localist level of legislative bodies, school boards, had to work with their school superintendents to make that decision. And they decided, whether good, bad, or indifferent, it was up to that community to make that decision. But if that's the case, if we can engage the localist level of legislative branches, and we can engage boards of commissioners working with the county executives, or township supervisors working with their boards to continue through this process, why can't we have our legislators, state representatives and state senators working alongside the executive branch in Lansing to help us better understand these issues moving forward? And I say that for this reason. Ballparks like Jimmy John's Stadium have been waiting to open, waiting for an answer, and waiting for the number. What is it we're looking for in the data science and statistics that is going to help us move forward with this issue? So with that, I say this. We're fortunate. Here in Macomb County, we have got partners, whether it's the folks working with our planning department, economic development, emergency management. Moving forward, we have been working with every community, every business, and every school district to try to make sure whatever we're doing it in a safe fashion, because I trust our businesses here in Macomb County. We'll do the right thing. And if they're not, we're not here to be punitive. I don't believe the Shelby Police Department had any interest in going out there and becoming the masked police. I think they wanted to work with their business, with their community, to try to figure out how do we solve this problem together. Because if we are truly in this together, we need to have all branches of government working together to make sure that we continue to make this a safe community. And fortunately for us in Macomb County, we've had great partnerships and working relationships with Shelby Township beyond this pandemic, so that realities like we're seeing here today and reasons why people live in Shelby Township, quality of life, quality of health care, access to health care here, educational systems that we have with the Utica community schools, and public safety. And I got to tell you, from my background in law enforcement, I'm proud of the fact that the people here in Shelby Township continue to support their police and their fire. It's not about defunding. It's about funding them, making sure we're doing the right things, but they are connected and they do have the true mindset or that compassion and that care for the dignity of all. I know it because I know some of these folks. And so with that, I want to thank the board, Rick Stathakis, Stan, the rest of the board, for your efforts here in Shelby Township, making Shelby Township what it is, because what Shelby Township does for Shelby, it does for Macomb County. And I couldn't be more proud of being a person who lives in this county, knowing there are communities like this that continue to thrive. So thank you, and God bless all of you. And Rick, wonderful job that you're doing in your leadership. Thank you.